I normally don't like to stand behind a podium. You see, my father was a Presbyterian minister, and my mother was a scientist and science teacher. And so they raised a son who loves to preach about scientific issues. But now I tend to want to walk around in my classes, but because we're being filmed today by Phoenix Channel 11, and we're blessed for that, I'm going to try to stay in one place. However, if you see me get too enthusiastic with my presentation, just give me an amen and I'll calm down. So today my subject matter is Grandma was green and you can be too. Now let me mention that in this talk, because I didn't really have a good feeling about how many folks will be here and the nature of the audience, there's going to be a lot of repetition. Now many of you may already know everything I'm about to say, but if you don't, understand that when you repeat things, it begins to get ingrained into your memory. Now, let me talk about how to go green. I get asked this question constantly, how to go green. Now, usually folks will tell me, you know, I just looked on the web page and I saw 50 ways to go green and I don't understand. And I couldn't quite get my mind around this question, so I looked up these very terms myself, and I found that there are 2,010,000 web pages on how to go green. And so I now understand what's happening. Folks are caught in analysis paralysis. There's so much information, you don't quite know where to start. And so I decided a good way of approaching this question is to let you know what my grandmother did. This beautiful lady is, I'm biased, but this beautiful lady is my grandmother. Back in the Depression in the 1930s. And Grandma was green. Now how would I know that? Okay. You see, Grandma had a goal. Her goal, now she was an educated woman in the age of Jim Crow. She was a teacher. But she had a goal. She knew that the best thing she had to do, most important thing she had to do, was to take care of her family the best she could. And so to reach that goal, to achieve that goal, she had certain rules that she lived with. And the most important one was to begin with the end in mind. Now she probably wouldn't say it like that. You know, Stephen Covey said it like that, but she probably wouldn't say it like that. But she knew that to begin knowing what she wanted to accomplish and then work to that point. Her second rule was the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Make the most of what you got. Do no harm. Always seek to make things better and do more with less. With those kind of rules, she patched her clothes. She reused wash water on the garden or lawn. She turned a dime into a dollar. She kept her home clean and healthy. She planted a garden, raised chickens to help feed the neighborhood. She cared for her neighbor. She recycled pop bottles. Now, I don't know if any of y'all are old enough to remember those Barks bottles. But little kids, they were a treasure. Grandma would have those bottles for me, and I'll take them to the store, and I get those 2 or 3 cent rebate, and I have some money. Today we call that recycling. And much, much more. You see, all these things made Grandma green. You see, Grandma planned when she wanted to go and then used green as her way to get there. Now today, we know when we have the economic, social, and environmental sciences to back up everything that Grandma did. So we know what the things she did, we would call today being green. Today we know that a healthy environment is a healthy us. Today we know that this take, make, waste society does not work in the long run. And we expect to have prosperity in the future. We must do things differently. We know about pollution, the Phoenix brown cloud, toxic fires and landfills. We know about climate change and the Phoenix heat island and drought. Oh, I was born here in Phoenix. And I remember it snowing on South Mountain at least once a year. When's the last time you've seen that? I remember at my grade school, in Tempe, which got flood irrigation on the north side of the building where the sun doesn't track. If we got irrigation in the winter, it froze solid. You could walk on it. When's the last time you've seen that? Things indeed have changed. It's a gradual change, but they have changed. We know about our natural resources that are not infinite. We know that we have a water problem here. You know, water is Arizona's most important natural resources. Did you know that Phoenix was built on 7 rivers? That's why Phoenix was here. Folks have been here for 5,000 years. 7 rivers. See, what are they? I mean, I try to remember all of them. They were the... here we go. Okay, built on 7 rivers. They were the Gila, the Nu, the Agua Fria, the Santa Cruz, the Verde, and the Salt. 7 rivers, and they're all gone now. They're all in our water taps. In fact, we use up so much water that we had to bring in an 8th river. We had to bring in an 8th river, and that's the Colorado River. That's 300 miles, 200 miles from here. And to do that, we had to build a canal system. We had to pump water 2,000 feet uphill to get it here. And without the Colorado supplying half our water, we wouldn't have the economics that we have here. Can you imagine how much that actually costs to do that? Water is our most important natural resource. We cannot afford to waste it. And then we have the energy. We all heard about the energy crisis and renewables and finding new ways to produce energy. And we heard about the triple bottom line. This is what we're talking about to do things for the future, for things to be sustainable. We have to have the 3 Ps, people, profit, and planet. And is that place right there in the middle where things are called being sustainable. Because if you don't have all 3, it will not last. If the people are not helped, it will not last. If the environment is not helped, it will not last. If the economics are not benefited, it will not last. And then going back to that picture you saw just before of the planet Earth, remember, the Earth is this enormous recycling machine. That's one way of looking at it. And the parts of that machine are the animals, the plants, the ecology, and it provides us all of our natural resources, clean air and clean water for free. And now the machine is beginning to break down because of the way that we do things. And as it begins to break down, we begin to lose these free resources. Can you imagine if we no longer had clean water? We no longer had clean air the way we do now, even though you're seeing how it's breaking down. So we know why we do things. And we've created some great tools to begin to reverse this situation. We have the green buildings we heard about just recently. New ways to produce energy. Now, nothing's perfect. This is a wind farm. Nothing's perfect. These things kill birds, as an example. But it's better than what we had before. And we have new ways of using energy, such as this particular kind of car that gets a very high gas mileage. We're getting to be more efficient. But we have to begin with the end in mind. You see, the problem that people have had being caught in analysis paralysis is that they've started to go green backwards. That you say, let's go green, and you go green where? You find your goal first and then figure out the green way of getting there. Let me give you a couple of examples, some case studies of some things that actually are going green forward. They started with the end in mind. In this case, this project was community revitalization.